So are you thinking about moving to Canada to study? Or are you looking for an opportunity to relocate to Canada and you're considering studying as an option? Then this video is for you. You would need what we call a study permit. Before you be eligible to get a study permit, there are certain things certain boxes you need to check out. Not all programs in Canada would allow you to get a study permit. And there are certain things you need to do that you might do that might disqualify you from getting a study permit. All these are the things I'll be breaking down in this video. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy content such as this, hit the like button. Let's get right into the video. As an international student, before you're able to study in Canada, you need to get what we call a study permit. A study permit is the legal document that allows you to study in Canada. And who gives out this study permit? It is the IRCC, the Immigration and Refugees Department in Canada. They are the ones who give out this study permit. To get a study permit, there are certain things you need to do. So the first one is go ahead, check whichever institution you want to attend. Make sure this institution has what is called a DLI. So it is called a DLI number. So DLI means Designated Learning Institution. So make sure whatever institution you are going to be applying to study in must have this DLI number. I'll be showing you how you can get a DLI number. So if you come to this website, this IRCC Immigration and Citizenship website, IRCC website, I'll be dropping the link to this page in the video description. It is the Designated Learning Institution list. Any school. For those of you, some people go to agents and the agents say them, don't worry, you can go around it. Please don't listen to them. Always look for only a school that has a DLI number. So if you come to this page, you can find a DLI number. For instance, let's say it's British Columbia. That's the province. If in British Columbia, you can see these are all the schools in British Columbia that has a DLI number. There are lots of schools with a DLI number. So why would you want to go attend a school that does not have a DLI number? Also note, not all courses would enable you to get what we call a post-graduation work permit. I'm going to be explaining that a bit later. But then, for you to note, most schools have a DLI number. So find out, come and search for the name of the school. It's arranged in alphabetical order. If the school is not here, please, then don't waste your time. It's not for you. Look for something else. Everything you want to check here, they are here. So that's that with DLI number. So, like I said, not all programs in all schools are eligible for what we call a post-graduation work permit. So if you're coming to Canada, if all you want to come and do is just to study, when you're done studying, you pack your bags and you leave, then you don't have a problem. Feel free to study any program. But I know for many of you, you don't just want to do that. You want to come and study in Canada. When you're done with Canada, you get a job. When you get a job, you apply for, you work for a while and you're able to apply for a permanent residency and stay behind. So meaning you want to get what we call a post-graduation work permit, a PGWP. To get a PGWP, you must enroll in a program that will enable you to get a PGWP. If you are not sure, most programs will put it on their website clearly that this is eligible for PGWP. PGWP means post-graduation work permit. For those that do not mention that, feel free to ask them. You want to pay them, right? So you want to make sure you are asking and making wise use of your funds and your resources. The next step is to ensure that you meet the eligibility requirement. What are the eligibility requirements? I'm going to be listing out a couple of boxes that you need to tick if you are going to be applying for a student visa to come and study in Canada. Number one, you need to check out what we call proof of funds. So you need to prove that you have enough funds to be able to take care of yourself while in Canada. For most provinces, what they expect is for you to have your tuition for the first year of your study, plus if it's just you as an applicant that is coming, plus around 10,000 Canadian dollars in your bank account sitting there for at least 4 months. Also, that account should have activity in it. It should not just be like a case of where the money is just sitting down there, or you just dumped 10,000 Canadian dollars there a couple of days to when you are putting in an application. So there must be an history of inflow and outflow from that account for a minimum of 4 months. Some people do 6 months, but 4 months is the minimum that is required of you. So you must have a proof of fund that shows that you can take care of yourself when you're in Canada. If you're coming with dependents, there's an addition to that. I will drop the link to where you can also check those details because it varies from province to province. And I think most provinces are the same except Quebec. The next thing you need to check in terms of whether you meet the eligibility requirements is criminal record. Make sure you do not have a criminal record. There's something we call police character or police certificate or police character certificate. You'll be required to get this document from your country or from like all the countries where you have lived in within a certain period of time. I think within a certain, maybe like 5 years. So you'll be required to get this document. So try and make efforts or arrangements to get this document handy. The other thing is you need to be in good health. You'll be asked to do a medical test. Is this saying that you cannot fall sick at all? You cannot have any health condition? No. As long as your health condition is not debilitating, if you don't have a health condition that would require so much from, or take so much toll on the Canadian health system and take so much from like taxpayers' money to take care of you, you will still get it. If you have some sort of, disease or ailment, you will still get it, except if it is, so chronic that it will be a huge burden on the Canadian healthcare system. Otherwise, you get it. But get ready, make sure you're in good health to come to Canada. The very most important point also is you need to prove that you would leave Canada after your study permit expires. It sounds unreasonable, right? You want to apply to come and study so that you can get a PGWP, so you can get a PR, permanent residence, and maybe eventually become a citizen. Yet they are saying you should prove that you return to your country after your study. Doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me too, but that's what Canadian immigration requires. So as at the time of application, make sure you are proving, even though your long-term intent is to stay back, like it was for me. But at the time I was leaving Nigeria to come to Canada, I proved that I am going to return to my country. What are some ways you can prove this? If you have a job in your country, if you can get a letter from your employer, even better, saying that, when you're done from this program, you'll be coming back to come and work for them, even though you're probably not going to go back, But if you get such a letter, it helps your case. Aside that, your letter of employment suffices in most cases. So if you have a job you're working in currently, it's a sign that, okay, and then you put it in your letter of explanation that, when I'm done, I'm going to go back. So that's one. If you have properties or business, okay, let me first talk about business. If you have a business in your country of origin or a country of residence, it's also another good thing that shows that you can use to prove that you return to your country. Another thing, if you have landed properties, properties, lands, cars, homes, or houses, documentations to show all these things are proof that you'll return. If you have a spouse as well in your country and you're coming alone, you can say, I have my spouse, I have my kids, put it in your letter of explanation, and there's no way I'm running away from your country. Say it there in your letter of explanation. Don't assume that the immigration officer would figure it out. You know why it's important to say it out? So that even if they reject your application arbitrarily, you are able to say, I said it in my application that I'm going to be returning, and I showed them why I'll be returning. So you can fight it. You can take them to a court of law. Many persons don't win these cases, so it's not a big deal at all. The next thing is put your documents together. You'll be needing a couple of documents to put in a study permit, your proof of acceptance or notice of acceptance from the school. So when you apply to a school, when you get admitted, they also give you something that is called an NOA or a POA. It's a notice of acceptance or a proof of acceptance. This is the document where the school have said they have accepted you. These are the conditions of acceptance into the program. So you are going to pay a deposit of 1,000 or 2,000 Canadian dollar. If there are such conditions in that notice of assessment, make sure you have fulfilled that condition, you've paid it, and you attach a proof that you've paid it. And you also mention it in your letter of explanation that this is the condition to my notice of acceptance, and I have fulfilled that condition. See, these immigration officers, they can be, I'm sorry to say, annoying sometimes. So make sure you are spelling it out like you are talking to babies or you are explaining to like 2-year-old children. The next thing is your proof of identity. Generally, that will be your international passport. You need to be able to present an international passport or some other form of document that's a proof of identity that allows you to apply to Canada. It's basically your traveling document. And usually, with a passport photograph, a recently taken passport photograph. Yes, the other thing is your proof of financial support. You need to be able to prove that you have the means to be able to support yourself while in Canada. I mentioned this briefly. What are some ways to prove that you can support yourself while in Canada? Those funds that I mentioned. So one could be a Canadian bank account that you have in your name. That's if you have transferred money to Canada. Another one is, a guaranteed investment certificate from a participating Canadian financial institution. So banks like Scotiabank, they offer what they call a GIC. What happens with a GIC is like you put this money in a Canadian bank, and there are such funds that you can take out like in installments from the Canadian bank before coming to Canada. Sorry, when you arrive in Canada, but you have to have put it in there before coming to Canada and show the document as part of your application. Also, if you're taking a student or education loan from a bank, show proof of documentation for a student or education loan. Another way is to show bank statement for 4 months. That's the one I mentioned earlier on. Also, bank draft that can be converted to Canadian dollars. Also, proof that you've paid your tuition and housing fees for the year. Letter from the person or school giving you money. So this is another one. Somebody might say, you know what, I'm going to be paying for your fees. Maybe because you are my younger sibling or I'm the one taking care of you. Getting a letter from this person and their account statement to show that they are the ones paying for you. If you are coming on a scholarship and you've gotten funding from the school, they will also give you a funding letter. This is another proof that you can submit as part of it. Then another thing is funding paid from within Canada if you have a scholarship or if you're in a Canadian funded educational program. All these are ways you can supply proof of fund. You should also provide what we call a letter of explanation. I mentioned this briefly. This is where you explain why you want to study in Canada, why Canada specifically, and that you understand your responsibilities as a student. If you guys want me to do a video on letter of explanation, how to write a letter of explanation and to even show you samples, leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll be doing a video on that one right away. Another thing would probably be a CAQ. It's the Certificate d'Acceptation du Québec. Only Quebec requires this. So if you want to study in Canada for 6 months, you must include the CAQ. So you must first apply to get a CAQ from Quebec before you now apply for your study permit if you are going to study in the province of Quebec. If you are a minor, you need to what they call a custodian declaration. So there's a form on our IRCC website. I'll drop a link to that form as well in the video description below. And whatever documents that are listed in, when you do your self-assessment on the IRCC website, whatever other documents that are listed there, make sure you submit it as well. Then the next thing you want to do, obviously, is you want to apply for a study permit to come and study in Canada. There are 2 ways to do this. You can either submit an online application or you do a paper application. For many, it is the online application that will be applicable. Just fill out the online application, fill in the documents, all the documents I've mentioned earlier on, put them in, and wish for the very best. There is a stream at the moment that's called the Student Direct Stream. It is for certain countries. I think a few countries, not all countries are eligible. So you might want to check. I'm going to drop the link to the SDS stream in the video description as well. Check if your country is eligible. You are able to get your study permit within 20 days if you apply through this route. Take note, a study permit is not a visa. When you are applying for a study permit, you also apply for what we call a TRV. A TRV is your travel visa. That is the document that enables you to enter into Canada, to fly into Canada. Every airline will ask you, where's your TRV? Where is your visa? That's your document. Your study permit is what allows you to study when you get into Canada. And the final one is you arrive in Canada, you find a place to live, search for places online, don't fall for home scams. I think I might make a video about how to avoid rental scams down the line. Get a phone, set up a mobile plan or an internet plan. I made a video, my previous video was about the best internet or mobile plans that you can get as an international student coming to Canada. If you're coming to Canada, I know you want to support yourself as well. You want to look for a job. You need to get what we call the SIN. It's the social insurance number. So once you get your study permit, document. You can use it to apply for an SIN. When you get your SIN, you are able to apply for a job. Without an SIN, you cannot work. Don't go do illegal jobs. As a student in Canada, you are eligible to work for 20 hours off campus and unlimited hours on campus if your job is on campus. Don't go beyond this time limit, please, for your own good. If you are found out, you might lose all you've worked so hard to get. Then one more other thing, open a bank account. Look for a bank account. Check out banks around that you can apply, that you can get a deal on. I think I should make a video about banking too down the line. There's so much I'll be putting out on this channel, one after the other. You know, when I make a video and I realize, okay, this is like a full category that I need to make explanations on, I'll just put it till another time. So I'll make a video on all this one. So you want to stay tuned. You don't want to miss out on all that juice. If you are planning to come to Canada, this is the video for you. If you have enjoyed this, if you have benefited from this, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those around you so that they can benefit as well. Let's get everybody into Canada. There's a shortfall of labor in Canada right now, and you might want to help yourself to this by coming here as well as an immigrant. Till I see you guys on the next one. Cheers.